तत्परं पर्याय विद्महे ज्ञानलिङ्गेश्वराय धीमहि तन्नो गुरुः प्रचोदयाते। ओम योग महर्षि डॉक्टर स्वामी गीतानंद गिरि गुरु महाराज की जय। नमस्ते, स्वागतम, वणक्कम. Welcome back to another one of Dr. Ananda's ranty yoga sessions. Yesterday I think was a bit too much. As someone said, there was more like a gangster yogi session yesterday. But I felt it was more of channeling Swamiji yesterday. And at times it becomes frightening how much you start channeling his energies, and then it can be very, very different than the normal Dr. Ananda diplomatic yoga style. Well, we all evolve, and after 54 is the one coming in, so maybe it's already started. We have been looking at many concepts and focusing on the bindus in recent times. And when we talk about the bindus, when we do the bindu sadhana, we are dealing with those focal points of consciousness. And yesterday you heard me mention the word Chiddakasha. Chit Akasha. It is the space of consciousness. And as we said yesterday, it is not the ordinary space, but a space that is beyond it. A new dimension of consciousness, a new dimension of space, which is opening up as you start to contemplate it. When we contemplate the higher consciousness, it blesses us by opening itself up to us. You know, if you want to open up to someone, you want to feel safe with them. One of the very key aspects of a therapeutic relationship, a teacher-student relationship, a parent-child relationship, or for that matter, any relationship, is trust. Without trust, no relationship can be sustained. Trust is a foundation on which everything can be built. Along with trust must come freedom. Trust and freedom. These two are the vital ingredients for a relationship to sustain, grow, and evolve. Otherwise, it stagnates, decays, and breaks. When we are talking about these higher conscious planes, these dimensions of consciousness, we need to develop a relationship with them. That is what the Bindu Sadhana is doing. It is enabling us to have a relationship with them. And for that relationship to manifest, we have to prove worthy of those higher levels of consciousness. That is why Yoga Sadhana is based on developing what is called Yogyata. Yogyata means fitness, worthiness, trustworthiness. Yogyata. And that is why a yogi is a person who has that yogyata. A yogi is a person you can trust and you can give freedom, because you know with that freedom they have the capacity of responsibility. Most people mistakenly think that freedom is the absence of responsibility. Especially when they are small kids. They think to be free means no responsibility, do what you want. As you mature, you realize with freedom comes responsibility, and the greater the freedom, the greater the responsibility. That word yogyata, we have to become fit for it. And Maharishi Patanjali so beautifully tells us that for the samyama, the higher inner intuitive aspects of yoga sadhana that include dharana, dhyana, samadhi, He says the key is pranayama. He says through pranayama, you have started to go beyond the body. You have started to go beyond the gross manifestation of the world. You have started to actually experience the subtle energies of the universe. Because the universe is prana, life is prana, the divine is prana, and the cosmos is prana. So when you connect with that prana, that is what pranayama is. Not breathing exercises, for God's sake. Pranayama is not breathing exercise. Pranayama is the sadhana that develops a relationship with prana itself. You start to develop a beautiful, harmonious relationship with prana, that life force, where it becomes your friend and you become its friend. You and prana are in a beautiful relationship of trust and freedom and mutual growth. When you start to experience the prana, you start to understand the subtler dimensions of existence. And it is at that point your mind, that monkey mind, your mind is now ready to be given the darshan, of the cosmos itself. Arjuna in the Mahabharata, great warrior, the best bowman ever, could shoot in the dark, could do anything. Look at the reflection and shoot the fish. Name it, marked done by Arjuna. Collapses on the battlefield even before the battle has begun. That emotional volatility and the higher consciousness, Krishna, guides him. Each and every one of us is an Arjuna. So Arjuna is not just the historical or mythological figure, depending on which part of the spectrum of historians you want to be on. That's why it's mythological history, historical mythology. We are all Arjunas. We are all in turmoil. We are all emotionally volatile. And because of that, we cannot experience the higher aspects that come from the capacity to be one with the prana that enables the mind, which is all scattered, sarvartha mind, to become ekagratayo, to bring the mind to one focus, that laser focus, where then the process of samyama can occur. Just as you use a magnifying lens, and with that magnifying lens, the all scattered light becomes focused, and fire, the tejas, can occur. We become a tejasvi. Tejas vinavadi tamastu. The tejasvi. The tejas comes along alive in us. When that focus is there, the tejas comes. No focus, no tejas. You're just wood. But then when the tejas comes, the wood burns. Tejasvi. You are just an incense stick. When that fire is there, the focus of the fire of the mind is there, the sugandhim pushtivardhanam, that sugandha starts to manifest. You know, the concept of the Brahma, the Brahman, the universe, and yes, Soundarajan, thank you for reminding me of that. Pratyaksham Brahmasi. You know, when you want to understand what is that Brahman, the visible Brahman is the Vayu, the air, the breath. And that is what you want to experience. Shanno mitra shanvarunaha, shanno bhavatvaryama, shanna indro brihaspatihi, shanno vishnu rukramaha, namo brahmane, namaste vayu, Tvameva pratyaksham brahmasi. Tvameva pratyaksham brahma vadishyami. Vedam vadishyami. Satyam vadishyami. Tanmam avatu. Tadbhaktaram avatu. Avatu mam. Avatu bhaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. That beautiful mantra from the Vedas. Tvam pratyaksham brahmasi. How do we know what is Brahman? What is that Brahman? The Vayu is the visible Brahman. And that is why in pranayama, through that work with the Vayu, we are trying to connect to the prana. We are trying to connect to that Brahma so that we ultimately can realize Aham Brahmasmi. We are that highest universal consciousness. The Bindu Sadhana is a way to make us fit. We become an adhikaran, someone who is capable of understanding, someone who is ready for the highest teachings, the Adi, the highest, most subtle, causal level of teachings. You become ready for it. You become an adhikaran. That is why Yama and Niyama, the Adhikara Yoga, they give you the foundation to go forward. When we are talking of this Chidakasha, Swamiji has given a very beautiful Jnana Yoga Kriya, Prakriya, and I thank Faustin for reminding me of it the other day. There's a very beautiful Kriya, and I thought I will mention it today as part of this, because this concept of the Chidakasha is a very beautiful concept. And again, going back to Swamiji step by step, page 124, page 124 of Step by Step. Yeah, that book in which Swamiji wrote upside down. When he gave me the book, Swamiji wanted me to develop a different perspective, so he wrote it upside down. You have to be in Shivasasana to read it right. It's called Akasha Jnana Kriya. Kriya is an action, Jnana is wisdom, and Akasha is ether, space. Remember, nothing is empty. It's filled with space. What do you fill yourself with? Junk or the cosmos? Swamiji starts off this lesson by saying, having trouble concentrating, it is tension of one variety or another that is causing it. Concentration is natural to all animal species in one form of or another. So concentration is a natural state of all species in one form or another. Whenever anyone tells me he cannot concentrate, I ask him what he is thinking about. Whenever anyone tells me he cannot concentrate, this is Swamiji, I ask him what he is thinking about. And out come his troubles. He, like everyone, is concentrating but on worry rather than on constructive things. You know, the people who keep on focusing on the problem until they magnify the problem so much they are swamped by it. The more you focus on the negativity, the more you are swamped by it. That is why Patanjali is very wise. Superhero Pat. So wise. He says, have a space, keep a distance from the negativities. Upekshanam, apunya, upekshanam. How to clear the mind of such tensions? By a simple form of relaxing concentration. Amazing term here. Relaxing concentration. It sounds like an oxymoron. Relaxing concentration, known as the Akasha Kriya. Here, the Akasha is taken to mean a mental state of Shunya Sthanam. Shunya Sthanam, which is devoid of any quality. Shunya means zero. Vacuum. Sthanam means a point. Shunya Sthanam, devoid of any quality. Not that the mind is thrown blank. It cannot be. There is no void in nature. There is no void in nature. All is filled with Akasha. Hence the term Akasha Kriya. Literally, the mind is thinking, but is thinking no thought. The mind is thinking, but it is thinking no thought. Deep relaxation comes about quickly, and this Kriya is an excellent way to also relax the eyes. If the eyes are sore or you suffer from eye strain, we all are doing it in the times of COVID-19, then you should cold pack the eyes. Cold pack is a good idea, Swamiji has suggested. Avoid rubbing them. Definitely in COVID time, don't rub anything. Do not wear glasses when doing any form of yoga, and particularly not while relaxing. This was one thing Swamiji used to always say, that when you're doing the practice not to wear the glasses, because the nose piece of the glasses or contact lens presses against nerves that will throw up color images, shifting rainbow patterns or colored lights. Because what it is doing, there's like a pressure which is coming from the glasses or even the contact lens. There's a pressure that is creating something else to happen. This is all undesirable from the standpoint of relaxation. And a calm mind has an inner screen of velvety darkness. A calm mind has an inner screen of velvety darkness. Swamiji goes on to describe this Akasha Jnana Kriya. It's a Jnana Yoga Kriya Prakriya because you're using the higher contemplative, cognitive ability to focus. Sit for relaxation. Close the eyes gently and slowly breathe in a rhythmical fashion. Rhythmical fashion, if Swamiji says, it is Savitri Pranayama. Concentrate your mind on velvety blackness. I like to use the word velvety darkness. And I will explain this in a few minutes when we complete this, what Swamiji is talking about. Think about the color of warm darkness. Warm darkness. Again, sounds like a bit of an oxymoron here. Do nothing else for 5 minutes. You are just focusing on velvety darkness, warm velvety darkness. This is very similar to the morning. If you get up before sunrise, basically the horizon has a lot of this warm velvety darkness just before the sun rises. It's a very beautiful experience. As part of another Kriya we do called Shitijan Kriya, which is done when the sun is rising over the horizon. Another one of the contemplative practices. So focus, think about the color of warm darkness, do nothing else for 5 minutes. If it is difficult to imagine velvety blackness, then imagine that you are sitting before a black velvet drape. Imagine you are sitting before a black velvet drape and gazing passively. It's a relaxed gaze into the warm black plush. Do not let the eyes get involved, relax. This is seeing without seeing. You are seeing, but you are not seeing. You are just relaxing and letting that be there. That is why in this image, this cartoon image, Swamiji had someone focusing on the warm velvety darkness. Warm velvety darkness which is there. Swamiji goes on to say, if you have eye disorders, then the postures of the Kona and Trikonasana will help. These asanas enable circulation to move up into the head region. Shirsasana, the headstand, is also helpful, but should not be used with high blood pressure or glaucoma. When the pressure in the eyes or the blood pressure is high, better to avoid it. Don't take the risk. Palming the eyes, we are always doing, rubbing the palms and the palm. The palming the eyes with the cupped hands will reduce eye tension. So with those words from Swamiji, let us try to contemplate this. And as I said, it is a space just in front of your head here. It's not exactly outside the eyes, slightly higher. And it's a very beautiful space that just opens up when you start to contemplate that space. A very beautiful space, which is, as Swamiji says, warm, velvety darkness. He uses the word blackness. I think later on when he used to teach, I always remember it as velvety darkness, not velvety blackness. I think that velvety blackness was when he was initially composing the coursework. But then when he was teaching, it was warm, velvety darkness. And this is like that, half an hour before the sunrise. Beautiful experience that is there. And this is a space out here, just outside here, you feel it. And what do you try to do is that you just try to witness it. The idea here is passive watching, which is witnessing. And witnessing is a very beautiful experience. You are not doing anything. It is a very beautiful experience of acceptance. You are just there and it is happening. Sakshi Bhava. Sakshi Bhava means a witnessing attitude. The attitude in this practice is of a witness. You are not doing anything. You are not focusing, I want to get it, I want to get it. You are just witnessing it. That is a very beautiful, it's a let go. It's a let go that is there in the Akasha Jnana Kriya. And this actually could be done before you start doing the Prana Kriya. We did the Prana Kriya, the Akasha Jnana Kriya, and the Prana Kriya would really, really develop a beautiful sense of, mental focus and energy in this area, the prefrontal cortex. And this evening, 5:30, I'm on a session on yoga and mental health organized by the Sri Sri School of Yoga, where Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Ji will be blessing us. And a beautiful panel with my dear Sadbir Khalsa, Guruji Nagendra Ji, my dear Shirley Tellis, Dr. Gangadhar of Nimhans, and Dr. Bogal of Kaivalya Dhamma. So I'm very much looking forward to this very beautiful experience today, and I hope I can give some of these ideas on yoga and mental health when we talk about it. Also, I must remind you, today we have the International Day of Yoga seminar, the webinar, with already 350 registrations. We had to close the registrations, but the event will be on the CITER 2010, because we started in 2010. And 2010 we started CITER, so the YouTube is 2010. The other day in my introduction I said 2020, because I'm so used to 2020 now. 2010, so 10 years ago. So CYTER 2010 is our YouTube, where it will be broadcast, and also on the CITER Facebook page under the event where we have hosted it. And looking forward to an amazing time. So a lot of stuff. Let's get back now. Taking off my glasses, Swamiji has said, so I better listen to him. Closing your eyes, sitting in a position where you can be comfortable for the next 2 or 3 minutes. We're just doing a short practice today. Begin to breathe in and out in the Savitri Pranayama, breathing out. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Let your focus now shift to the space in front of the forehead and up to about half a foot beyond you, could be 6 or 8 inches in front of you. Just visualize a beautiful space that is there, a space which is a space of consciousness. The Chitta Akasha, the space, and a very beautiful space that is having warm, velvety darkness. Just a beautiful darkness manifesting in the space. When we go into outer space, you just have that type of warm, velvety darkness. And that is the experience we want to have. A consciousness that is not being colored. And when there is no color, that darkness is seen. All colors coming together, you have the white light. And when all colors are removed, you just have that beautiful consciousness, uncolored, pure consciousness. That is the beautiful, warm, velvety darkness of the Chiddakash. Letting yourself develop a sense of witnessing it. Passive watching. Watching without watching, seeing without seeing, perceiving without perceiving. And just being there in that moment. A moment of just being rather than doing anything. Just be. And witness that beautiful Akash. Do not push yourself into anything. Just keep that distance, that vairagya, and just allow a sense of witnessing the space to manifest. It is only being, there is no doing. Begin to gently move your fingers, rubbing your palms together, generating a nice warm pranic solstice. Placing the warm palms over the eyes and blinking into that semi-darkness of the cupped palms. And then letting the eyes get used to the sun, the brightness outside again through the blinking. The blinking is a very relaxing phenomenon when you are coming out of this type of situation. We'll keep working on this and take your time, work on it whenever you can. And just be aware of this beautiful space. It is the space where that connection to the Chiddakasha can be made, and the Viveka, discernment, and Vairagya, metacognitive, non-attachment, can manifest. Wishing you a wonderful time, and don't forget to log in to our Saita event today. We have amazing sessions, and also this evening for the event hosted by the Sri Sri School of Yoga in association with the Indian Yoga Association. Thank you so much.